a few years ago, during the Obama administration. Washington Times, although there are multiple news sources. The State Department paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayers' grants to an Israeli group that used the money to build a campaign to oust Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in last year's Israeli parliamentary elections. A congressional investigation concluded some $350,000 was sent to One Voice, ostensibly to support the group's efforts to back Israeli-Palestinian peace settlement negotiations. But One Voice used the money to build a voter database, train activists, and hire a political consulting firm with ties to President Obama's campaign. This is with your tax dollars. All of which set the stage for an anti-Netanyahu campaign, the Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigation said in a bipartisan staff report. Bipartisan. In one stunning finding, the subcommittee said One Voice even told the State Department's top diplomat in Jerusalem of its plans in an email. But the official, Consul General Michael Ratney, claims never to have seen them. He said he regularly deleted emails with large attachments, a striking violation of open records laws for a department already reeling from former Secretary Hillary Clinton's handling of official government records. Mr. Netanyahu survived the election, and the U.S. spending was not deemed illegal because the State Department never put any conditions on the money. Gee, I wonder if that was intentional. Investigators also said One Voice didn't turn explicitly political until days after the grant period ended. Now, that's nonsense. The State Department ignored warning signs and funded a politically active group in a politically sensitive environment with inadequate safeguards, said Senator Rob Portman, Republican of Ohio and chairman of the investigative subcommittee. It is completely unacceptable that U.S. taxpayer dollars were used to build a political campaign infrastructure that was deployed immediately after the grant ended against the leader of our closest ally in the Middle East. American resources should be used to help our allies in the region, not undermine them. Quote, unquote. Senator Claire McCaskill, the ranking Democrat from Missouri on the subcommittee, said the Obama administration followed the law. But she said their investigation exposed deficiencies in the State Department policies. Boy, she speaks differently now. One Voice had been politically active in Israel's 2013 elections as well, which should have been a red flag to U.S. officials to put strict controls on how American money, taxpayer money was spent, the investigation said. While it wouldn't necessarily have disqualified the group, the State Department should have written a specific prohibition. Well, they didn't, because they wanted to defeat Netanyahu and interfere with the election. It's a part of a pattern of bad behavior at the State Department. The Government Accountability Office reviewed more than 6 department grants and found officials cut corners and missed red flags in 80% of them. State Department spokesman Job Kirby, I think he's a propagandist for CNN now, or one of them, said they had not had time to go through the report and he couldn't comment on it. He also didn't comment on Mr. Ratney's practice of deleting official records. The Senate investigation found that the State Department funded 2 sister groups, One Voice Israel and One Voice Palestine, to hire a U.S. political consulting firm, recruit volunteers, build a social media network, and run advertising. But it was also building its anti-Netanyahu political strategy at a time when the Israeli leader was quite controversial in American politics, celebrated by Republicans but feuding with the Obama White House over differences of policy. One Voice told at least 2 State Department officials of its political plans, even as it was collecting taxpayer money. But the department took no action in response, the subcommittee concluded. Mr. Ratney, one of the 2 officials, said he remembered getting an email from One Voice, but didn't recall seeing the attached a file detailing the group's political strategy. The State Department was unable to recover the email, but investigators got it from One Voice. Now, if the Israeli prosecutors had, or the Israeli government had a Robert Mueller, I suppose they could have indicted Obama and John Kerry and a whole load of Obama officials for interfering with their election. Would anybody have had a problem with that? And, of course, try them in absentia. Here we have the Obama administration knowingly interfering in an election in Israel and providing $350,000 of our tax dollars. Shortly thereafter, ladies and gentlemen, the Obama administration would interfere with our election through its FBI, through its CIA, through its National Director of Intelligence, unmasking, spy in the Trump campaign, a phony application for a FISA warrant that was renewed repeatedly, including with Mr. Rosenstein's signature, while covering up all of Hillary Clinton's serial crimes under the Espionage Act, fixing the outcome of her investigation, while trying to criminalize the candidacy, the election, and presidency of Donald Trump. Here we have the administration, the Obama administration, caught red-handed, and I do mean red-handed, and nothing. In fact, Claire McCaskill of Missouri defends them. They didn't do anything wrong. Nothing wrong here. Nothing wrong at all. And now these same people want to take down the President of the United States, Donald Trump. History is a bitch to the left, isn't it? Excuse my French, but that's the way it is. They hate it. Unless, of course, they can spin it. No Obama official, including Obama himself, has ever been held to account for this. Never. Not Obama, not Kerry, not any State Department officials and others who were involved in this. Other than this subcommittee investigation. No criminal investigation. Seems to me there should be if you're going to use our taxpayer dollars to interfere with a campaign and a campaign outside the country. There are no lengths to which the left won't go to achieve its outcome. To achieve its outcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I shall return.